good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is for you. And welcome back to the old world where we are still covering the duel tournament that is held between community members here. And let me just drop a message in Discord. There we go. And we can see the game has already started with Cliff picking Greece here being the first pick. Map type is a dual-wide inland sea. And let's take a quick look. So Greece or Cliff picking a strict scholar as a starting leader. Interesting. Something that we don't see too often. Let me just mark that one up for my own notes here. So this would be Greece as first pick with a scholar and strict champions first seed. It's pretty interesting to see how the players evaluate the starting families that they pick. I know that Purple Bullmoose is a big fan of starting with a iron resource or starting with a champion family if he has any excuse to do so. And I do understand the habit getting the free steadfast promotion on all of your units is very nice. We are still waiting on Groudon to pick. Yeah, he hasn't decided what to go for yet. So we can take a look around the map for a moment. Oh, interesting. We have a really big mountain range blocking the players from actually moving through to the middle of the map from their spawn or their first city. So both players are forced to move downwards into this flatter area where there is the free side down south, a couple of marble, very nice for statesmen. If one of the either player decides to go for them, and then the backside here very flat. A could trade a city. Oh, actually, even more interestingly, because there is this landmass in the middle here that blocks off the entire in the sea from being one continuous big body of ocean. It means the players can't even get these sites with boats before getting probably this middle city site. So this will be a really interesting map. I assume most of the fighting will be on down here near this city site, as it's the only one that is really easy to reach for the players. But that also does mean that, yeah, that there is one horse here, luckily, so nations with mounted unique units don't get completely hosed over here. Interesting to see whenever and these wide inland sea maps are rather rare to see played, so it's interesting to see what the map gen does with them. Lots of unique permutations on how the map can look. Let me just remark these. So this goes. having the... Let's see, actually, does Greece have any general access other than the king? Does have a hero, very nice. Definitely one of the best parts about starting with champions. Well, not best part, but a notable upside for starting with champions is the very high likelihood of getting heroes with this character tendencies having 10x hero and 10x commander. Heroes being probably the most valuable general type that you can get in the very early game. Or so something more about Greece as a nation. Just start with drama as being the pretty much the most interesting starting that they do get. Very nice as a observer because I can get music immediately by spectating Greece, as well as the pre-culture is very nice and the settler cost is also quite quite nice. Most notably because it means the early game is a bit easier, though it's not that much savings in the long run. Groudon has founded his nation, starting as Rome, and Roman landowners. Also going scholar. Interesting. I'm kind of surprised not to see um, any schemers here. But a righteous scholar. I wonder if this is actually. I assume that the players have pick. Yeah, they do have pick later trait as well. So these are custom selected. Going for landowners is completely understandable with this triple honey. Yeah, so I assume this will be a land consolidation rush from Groudon. Immediately assigned his leader as the as a general for this warrior here. The best part for a scholar, but I assume that he didn't have many options. Yeah, the only possible option, so pretty much had to go for it if he actually wants a general on the unit here. I assume there are, yeah. And also immediately appointed a builder governor. Very nice to get a builder governor immediately. Greece going for divination, really doubling up on the possible culture. I assume that he wants to... Yeah, sorry, I'll just swap the name. So this is Cliff versus Groudon. And Sion is asking that what are the ways of out of that area, that the players can move south and go through the southern plains to meet each other, but to get to this middle tree city side location you need boats, and then you need to build boats in one of these cities to actually get to these three cities. So it's very awkward to actually reach these Numidians. Actually kind of unfortunate for Cliff as well, because he has to clear this one Numidian camp if he wants to actually take the middle island. But then all of these will start raiding him, while Groudon has the possibility of just clearing Thracians if both players actually want to go for boats here. Yes, this will be... it's almost unfortunate that neither player went for mounted units as their unique unit, so this would be perfect country for mounted unique units. I can just imagine Egyptian lancers running through this area, but of course they couldn't have known what the map generation will be like. So definitely nice for Rome as well. With these kinds of long maps where you need to go for a long walk before you get to the frontline. Rome's bonus with the 1+ fatigue limit is really valuable. It's very likely that moving the settlers down will take 1 turn less for Rome than it does for Greece. Let's see, wonders are not really weak. Ishtar is available, but this is a very awkward Ishtar game with both players most likely fighting with five cities for most of the game. These 13 cities are unreachable for a long while. So not the greatest Ishtar map, but there is the Gothon, and this is a rather valuable. The sea control is really valuable for this map. Not the absolute most valuable, but getting early sea control to get to these cities and then actually being able to reinforce and hold them is valuable later on. And then no Colosseum, no Heliopolis, so these not the most impactful wonders in the game here. Most notably, no econ wonders aside from the Hanging Gardens early on, and I don't think players are that inclined to actually rush for wonders other than the pyramids or maybe the ziggurat, as those are the ones that actually give you the best timings with your laws. So, proud on getting the stone boost. I wonder what he is planning with these. I could be just getting early hamlets. Never a bad idea to get some gold income going. Actually, we could check what's the status on gold resources on these maps. There is that Camos is no gold income. Very gold poor in raw resources, so the players do need to figure out some way of getting extra gold income here. As there have been a couple of games where both players have been really poor in terms of their gold income because they've gone for leaders that don't generate any gold and then haven't gotten any courtiers that give extra gold income as well, because this plus 32 from competitive mode isn't enough to actually cover the costs of buildings and units over the long term. Oh, very awkward having a river tile here. Though probably not super impactful immediately. Would be more impactful if he had to take this with 2 units. As for some background for these players, Cliff got here by he won his first game and then lost in upper bracket to Class Koalas, who seems like a really strong player. Had some really funny plays in that game with Class Koalas. While Groudon is here as an substitute for, I believe, Cycle, I think it was. That who dropped out after his last game, after playing the last game. Let me check. Yeah, Cycle 4X dropped out after their last match. But Groudon is definitely. I have actually screamed against Groudon. I've been playing a practice opponent basically for this tournament, and I can tell that he is also a strong player. Definitely better than me, at least. Oh, yeah, that makes this is the second Roman city statesman with double marble, very solid. Nothing really to complain about there. While Greece is immediately going for the barbarian side. This hero is doing a lot of work here with the having ranger steadfast hero makes the clearing these barbarians really easy. This camp not so much because there are no trees there, but you can always win. A bit of a shame how useless this champion seed militia will most likely be for Greece. It will take a long time before it can actually move anywhere useful. For Rome, still clearing here. I assume that he attacked over this river here instead of moving to the woods when he had the chance, so getting kind of punished there. We'll get a second warrior in a couple of turns. So it's not really lost time in expansion, most likely because getting a settler here will all take a couple of turns anyways. Yeah, 7 turns at the moment with surprisingly poor food, actually. I just guessing that it's just this one sorghum actually doesn't go that far. This is default settings from what I remember. Yeah, we have modest prosperity, so nothing from there as well. Both players beelining toward the center. I would not be surprised to see this taken really early. Greece going for one of the hidden bonuses that Greece has as a nation, which is starting with drama, does give them the card for a free settler. So they can save some time in their build queues by just grabbing this free settler instead. Greece did grab divination, but has not started the shrine yet. Instead going for full military. Pounding artisans here. No mining resources, but getting a free worker immediately is very nice. Maybe he will try to go for lumber mills at some point down here. Very nice river system for both players as well, flowing from top of the map all the way to the sea. So all of these 4 initial city sites will be connected by a river, but bit awkward in terms of movement because it's not really the straighted path that were, so moving military units will be a decent bit slower than it will be for other types of units. Or rather, not other types of units, but getting the connection for free, but then not really the bonuses to movement. Let me just mark these families that have been founded up. So are my notifications? Fighting federations. I probably have some setting on that doesn't let me see the player's pins. I know that there are a couple of settings that cause that to happen, but it's probably not anything game breaking at this moment yet. Yes, this is like I was talking about earlier, that with Rome's plus 1 fatigue limit, founding a city he will probably find his cities a decent bit faster after, just because of the movement penalties. Though this is of course the free card settler, so there's no way that Rome can actually grab a settler this quickly. Even if he didn't go for a warrior here, this settler wouldn't be out yet. I assume at least. Options for Rome hasn't marked anything yet. Did go for labor force. Is going for navigation. Actually really nice with the early access to biremes. So there is a good chance that Rome will have some control of the seas before Greece does. Greece founding a third city, Sages. No aqueduct in the game, so no opportunity for a really nice aqueduct here. Always something that I like to look at whenever Sages are in the game. Promoting bloodthirsty and steadfast. And the militia has actually made its way all the way down to Nicaea. Quite. I'm surprised that he actually found the orders to do that. Family opinions all fine for Greece. For Groudon is also fine. Fighting the Thracians, I assume. Yes, Greece hasn't found them yet, so Rome is ahead on scouting. I assume... Let me check the full vision here. Greece hasn't scouted north at all, so I don't think he is aware of if there's a gap in the very north. But I think he can assume that it's fully blocked off. For Rome, he has the same vision, basically. That might be actually the map edge. Yeah. So both players know that either know or are almost certain that there is no way through up north, so they are fully committing to moving southwards. Greece has cleared these first sites and now is moving towards the backside. Rome is still clearing the site near the sea. Definitely seeing the lack of a good general. Yeah, has had to assign his ruler as the general for this first warrior and actually doesn't have any generals for the second one, so a bonus that the champions have is the extra chance for getting heroes and commanders, and Greece is making good use of it. Because Greece's king is actually strict, this new warrior also comes immediately with steadfast and one extra promotion. Doesn't have another general for it though. Not like he really needs a general though with a promoted steadfast warrior. There's a question about the free tech from Sages. I assume it was husbandry, because I don't really see a reason to hard tech husbandry this early on with 0 pastures available. So not a good hit, but also it's a 120 science tech instead of a 80 science tech, so it's not terrible either. I wonder what the best hit would have been. Maybe even architecture or aristocracy. Though aristocracy is a decent bit better after you have multiple cities, so you don't waste a border boost that early on. Yes, the pasture. There is one horse here on the, I think, the 5th city, I think it's counted. And then there are horses everywhere in the middle and north. I know that there's at least one here, so a lot of cities with horses, but a lot of them are inaccessible at the moment. Inaccessible, I think, rather. Yes, so Greece actually hasn't scouted that much. Greece only sees up to this city here. He doesn't see what the middle portion of the map looks like, where Rome scout is already near Greece's land, so Rome definitely knows the ground here better here, so he knows what the empty middle plain is like. So I would not be surprised to see him go for something like something mounted for like chariots pretty soonish after finishing navigation. So I do really like the going for navigation on any sea map where you know that boats are rather useful. I wonder if he actually saw over the mountains at some point and saw the camp here. It's kind of difficult to see on this map mode. But if he knows that there's a camp here, he knows that he probably needs a boat to reach there. So getting early boats is even more valuable than it would be useful usually. Not to speak of the serfdom and colonies being always useful. Actually, we should do a crow count, so there's 1, 2, 3. Only 3 from what I see so far. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. Starting with Rome and landowners is something that really incentivizes you to grabbing early land consolidation and then all of these honeys, but it seems like Groudon is just paving over them with hamlets. So if you crush a luxury resource with a urban tile, it actually disappears and you get immediate yields from it. So harvesting one of these honeys would give you 10 culture. So if you build an urban tile on top of one instead, I think it is 50 culture that you get from it immediately. So instead of this means that Groudon is definitely not going for land consolidation anytime soon. Unfortunate that this encampment got the second level of walls, so it is rather difficult to clear now. We'll take a lot of chance on whacking on it with these low promoted units. Did grab amphibious, very nice. Does counter the penalty from crossing rivers, so does get both of the bonus from standing on urban tile while not being blocked by the river here. Reeds, of course, not having really any sort of problems with these early expansion with these steadfast warriors from champions. Interesting to see that. And the advisor, oh, I thought it was Wonder, but it's just the Rhine visual for Greeks. That's actually, yeah, there is the Shrine of Hades for Greeks, so they have paganism up. I assume Rome is in no hurry to grab divination. You just go for immediately for extra orders. Oh, also getting a free slavery law after finding discovering labor force. Very nice as an event. Saves a lot of civics. Especially as Greece when you already have a developed culture here, so you can easily justify spending those saved civics for rushing. Yes, unfortunately this map doesn't really have many rivers to benefit from. Let's see if Rome is better for visualizing this. So I think the only river on the entire map is the one that runs from the north of the capital down to the sea. Yes, that's actually the only. There is one here. So on these city sites as well, but I don't assume there is much fighting to be done over those. So not really the most impactful amphibious promotion. Unless this guy ends up doing some marine action later on with embarking and disembarking, punching these regions, for example. The one nice part about this continuous wall of mountains, though, is that it forces all the tribal invasions from north to hit this city. Or maybe they can disembark here and move to this city, but it's still rather easy to keep eyes on them. So it's not really. It restricts the number of city sites, but it also allows the player to consolidate their military. Yep, third city champions. Not really the best champion city, but I think you cannot skip a military family as Rome, especially. So third for Rome is champions, and third for Greece is sages. There we go. Both players have all of their families in play now. And no opinion disasters yet. Yes, no. Nothing really too bad going on at the moment. Greece going for phalanx, basically immediately. Interested in going for phalanx instead of navigation. Really values getting that first 5 strength unit up as quickly as possible. Getting out of the idiot stage, as the players like to call it. Does Rome have a... yeah, there we go. Statesmen have a couple of generals for them, so this is actually a decent amount of power, especially with the oligarch here with the commander bonus. But from the looks of it, Greece will likely get to this center city site before Rome does. Let's build a decent amount of warriors in the capital, just churning out military units, and like the champions it usually does. Actually, that is an interesting thing as well, because labor force, no, not labor force, it's centralization. Actually, show it from here. So one of the bonuses of centralization is that you can build farms on marshes, and the marsh-bound farms actually have an additional bonus of giving you 2 wood, so they are kind of a half of a lumber mill as well as a farm, and usually that bonus is basically irrelevant, but on this map here there is this large swampy area in this river merging or river junction, where building farms all over this area would actually be really interesting. Would end up being a good amount of wood. Oh, and there's another one here as well. Putting a granary here and then boosting a wood yield from those farms is a funny play. I wonder if one or either of the players actually recognizes that. I know that going for centralization is pretty common anyways, just because of the... yes, and Sion is confirming that the granaries do boost the wood income. But going for centralization is pretty common anyways, just because of the couple of points of science you get from that, with the +2 year per culture level in your capital. But the farm bonus is something that people probably aren't really that cognizant of usually. This map actually might have the most easily accessible marsh farms that I've seen in a super long time. Even these ones aren't super far away. And you get the excuse of grabbing this ore as well at the same time. Definitely a really interesting map. Rome almost has navigation while Greece is still working on phalanx. Actually, what shrines did Greece get? They have Hades here, which is just a culture and mountain adjacency. shrine. They have courthouse shrine that gives like a little bit of science. This is nets, I think. Yeah, this is nets, and then this is civics and wonders. So I think if you could grab the net shrine on one of these tiles, it would be quite nice. It's I like the net shrine quite a bit by just by this plus 20 a year being a decent amount of gold. It's basically like a hamlet, second level hamlet immediately. Rome already has a stonecutter specialist here and getting a second one here. Much really in that direction to grab. Clearing more barb camps out. Does have steadfast besieger on this warrior, so this guy is actually really good at clearing these barbarian sites out. Oh, did get swift on the leader. I wonder what he got that from. Probably just a random level up bonus, if I had to guess. While Rome is strict, loyal, and humble, so actually a lot of gold income from this war discipline. Just get 128. Laws did go for freedom, while Rome is interesting actually. I do remember that Greece had the event that would have let them take slavery for free, with just getting some unrest in the capital, but did still decide to go for freedom instead. While Rome has both freedom and serfdom, just got serfdom this turn, so definitely very nice timing to get these extra orders. Both also has brought the militia from Volubilis into the fight. Almost losing a warrior, but not quite. Still a bit unfortunate in terms of these stats on his leader that is currently on this warrior, because just getting plus 12% crit is not a amazing war bonus for a unit to have. Running a large stockpile of stone. I wonder what he will do with those. Maybe just grabbing lots of... Yeah, immediately getting a boat. But I assume that a lot of this stone is just going to garrisons eventually. Does have a shrine here. I might have grabbed a sheep with that. You can tell that Greece is order starved by the fact that this warrior is still standing here unpromoted. It's definitely a not really doing anything here. But also a low priority. In terms of graphs, let's take a look. Civics, neck and neck. Rome has a tiny bit of a lead. Training, Rome is leading, but that is hardly surprising considering Rome is Rome and gets a lot of decent amount of free training. Culture, Greece has the same, getting free culture because of Greece. Science, Greece is leading by a surprising amount, actually. I'll take a look at what specialists the players have built to see if that's from specialists or from something else. Orders, Rome is leading now because of navigation. So a rather even game. So actually let's take a look at stats and let's see specialists. Oh, actually Greece has less specialists as well, so it might just be the difference from having a more wise king. Having 5 instead of 3 is some amount of extra science from that. Yeah, getting the plus 42% from having king as a governor in the capital is already a good amount of the science difference there. There is definitely there is a good timing for Rome to grab this boat, clear this site, and then go up north before Greece can contest it. But the question is how much he is actually able to get done in that time frame before Greece gets their own boats. Though Greece did decide to go for... Oh, he has marked navigation now. Did go for phalanx first. Grabbing a 3 hoplite. A bit unfortunate that it spawns all the way in Pella, so a lot of turns of walking for that unit to actually get to the action. Actually, if you take account here, if you move along the river, you get 1 turn here, I assume. 2nd turn here, 3rd turn. It's like 6 turns away from fighting. Not quite super fast. Yes, and this island here is definitely something that you can really use if you, especially in conjunction of, if you can grab these tiles here near the sea or near the coast and then use coastal movement, you can just use this middle island as a highway. Though the same is also true for this coastal area here, from the grabbing this side, and then if you can get this side you can also use the highway here. But Rome getting this extra getting navigation early on and getting bioreams is definitely does give him an advantage in terms of controlling the sea. So if he can grabs this bioream and then grabs another after that, it's really difficult to for Greece to actually start contesting the seas with just one city being able to build boats at the moment. Though Cliff is making really good progress on expanding here. Doesn't have a settler in queue though, so it'll be a couple of turns before he can actually settle this city site. I wonder if he'll just leave something to guard this and then move forwards. He still hasn't scouted any further forwards though, so it's kind of difficult to actually move these units if you don't know where you're actually going. So Rome getting delayed clearing this site didn't really make his expansion any slower, with this settler already coming out in 4 turns and then probably immediately settling this city site. Interesting to see what Rome will go for here. Going for aristocracy. Oh, this is interesting. I'll have to keep an eye on this, whether they go for centralization or for vassalage. Greece is still grabbing a free hoplite. Greece actually has researched a lot of these free techs, grabbing the free settler, the stone boost, now the hoplite. So even though Greece has a advantage in science income, I think Rome might be a tiny bit ahead in tech at the moment. Probably can't be through with these sages hitting his husbandry though. That's just so much free science at the moment. Now going for navigation. Definitely good just for the orders from serfdom here. Yeah, Rome is 1 turn behind in clearing this camp, because Greece still had to use this turn to clear out the last barbs roaming around the site, so Rome has completely caught up in expansion. Or will have soonish. Working on a worker here. All these sorghums. Rome did get divination now working on a shrine, so Rome will also have a religion up. Actually, I saw Greece is working on an acolyte here, but does he already have one? I think he did. I assume it's here. Yes, so there is a apprentice acolyte in this shrine, so 2 turns until Greece founds Zoroastrianism. So Greece will then have a religion as well. Will be interesting to see where that lands. Interesting, building Olympiads. I don't really know how to evaluate these. Getting 1 training a year isn't terrible as a passive bonus either, but I assume it's just because he doesn't have enough citizens to actually put them on the stonecutter. I think I would have preferred a festival for the stonecutter and then go for the Olympiads, but it's not really probably the biggest thing. Because I think Greece also has realized that now that he is on the bottom of the map that there probably isn't a way to get to the northern side. So all of these cities here probably have to be military cities. Actually hard building units instead of ecoing up with them. Just getting to high culture and then trying to do something with that. So getting the passive training income isn't terrible. Groudon is probably spending this time thinking. I know that he in our last practice game he did mention that the timer is not something that he really is super comfortable playing with. Yeah, Ishtar coming out from will probably be just the 5 cities Ishtar though. It could be 6 cities, but it seems rough. Anchoring here, I think lets him cross though, but still, with the time you need to spend healing these units. I mean, I guess it's only 1 turn of movement over the bay here. Or the sea, I guess it's too big to be a base, or over the sea here, so I think Rome could get a 6th city here. But I don't think neither player is really in a position to actually fight over this Thracian site at the moment. Let's see, resource incomes for a moment. Rome grabbing positive in everything, a bit not super high on food, but as Rome you don't really need too much food anyways. For Greece, positive in everything, but a little bit less positive in everything aside from gold. So both players have a decently healthy economy. Rome obviously spending a good amount of his income for this Ishtar gate here. Interestingly enough, the players aren't at war with each other yet. But that's something that I also tend to forget to do in multiplayer. I assume that the players are at war from the start instead of actually declaring war. Probably a mistake not to have this 1 tile more south. Make so that the units actually need to walk 1 dial up north before they can embark. But I'm guessing settling the city here will fix that. actually give the border access all the way to through the coast. Let's see, Greece's settler still 4 turns away, kind of. Rome will actually have this settled a lot faster than Greece will. I assume it's 1 turn from now, then 2 turns of walking with Rome's plus fatigue, and that means that this Grecian settler will be in 6 turns. Maybe even 7. No, probably 6 with the river movement here. Hard to say. Kind of awkward as well, because this double promoted commander warrior would really like to be doing something, but moving it back to actually heal it up is so slow. And this free hoplite is still standing in the capital because Greece doesn't have the orders to actually move it southwards. But I'll have to take a quick AFK break here. I'll be in a couple of minutes. And I have returned after a single turn, I think. Let's take a look at the kits for a moment. Actually, no kits for Rome at 47 is quite interesting, or quite rare. It does have a adapted, educated judge as the heir. I saw the year cap and I immediately assumed that this hadn't had to be adopted. Or something, or a sister or something. But actually the same for Greece, that Greece doesn't have any kids either. So, this having no kids and mourning is never a good sign. Could be that the princess did die. So very unfortunate. Did get Zoroastrianism though, and it's spawned down south, which is probably better than it's spawning up north. So some consolation. Rome did grab the 5th city here. The players are talking about switching to tight turns instead. I assume it's because Groudon does see the middle camp now, so if he sees this, he knows that he can also start fighting over it. I'm keeping on Rome to see the law pick here. New ambitions. Some free resources. Or free training of his free civics. Does this map actually have anything but trapping? Not really. There's the one camel here, but I think it's the only trapping resource in the immediate vicinity. I would not be surprised to see Rome redraw this. There's nothing here that immediately speaks to me. Especially when Rome can see what Greece is doing here. Interesting. There's a note from Groudon that says that he wants to run inquiries with the scholar leader. But I don't think. Yes, she's still like general in the field instead of a governor. So not really something that you can do at the moment. Though having a judge here isn't terrible either. Not super good at the moment because it's still short on culture to actually get to rushing in any super fast time frame. Rome does have 4 warriors now, and that's enough to clear this camp pretty quickly if he decides to go north, which he seems to be doing with this boat. Greece, meanwhile, 1 turn from navigation. Will probably go for boats. Grabbing some disciples here. Shame it doesn't really have that good of a growth. Does get the free connected for a +2. But I assume the first spread will be to Chalkis to make use of all these farms here. Though is Chalkis connected yet? No. Still needs to road here for 1 tile to actually get the connection. They might actually be true for Rome. Yeah, still also needs a road for one tile here. Super easy to miss as well because this it's easy to think that a marsh tile would be a watery tile and therefore count as a connection, but it doesn't quite work that way. Did go for trapping, did go for centralization. I'll be interested to see if he remembers the marsh bonus. No, seems like the players are still on simultaneous. Or swapped back to simultaneous, maybe. Greece can grab either colonies of serfdom. Both valid options. I think Greece probably needs the orders more, though, at the moment. always funny to see when people are quite liberal with how they use the tech tree markings when all the 4 options on the top are marked as desirable. Going for forestry and sovereignty. I assume the forestry is most for actually funding the spearmen that he has access to. As well as the phalangites having 100 wood as in their cost is quite expensive. Rome has made landfall here. I think he doesn't know about this camp because he might have walked into an ambush. Getting hit on both sides by the Thracians. Doesn't have a second scout, so he's working kind of half blind here. Do any of these units have... What's the promotion called? Tracker. Yeah, there is one tracker warrior here, but I assume some of this is in Fog of War for him. Yeah, it's in Fog of War, so tracker doesn't really reveal that much. It's usually it would be the +3 vision, but it's +3 vision in sight range. But if a tile is under the fog of war, it actually, the vision doesn't do anything on those tiles. Will be interesting to see what happens here. Let's see, I got tagged somewhere. Oh, I'll actually do this. Let's see. I think this is fine for now. Being on simultaneous, but after if any of the players moves towards the middle, I'll pause the game and force them to put it to tight. Or make it so that they swap to tight before they actually start fighting. Just saw that Groudon sent me a message about that, but probably fine for now. A bit stressful maybe, but otherwise it'd be okay. Second boat coming from Water Willis. He's doing... just kind of holding at the moment. I assume that he's spending a lot of his orders on getting buildings up and maybe dealing with family opinion and stuff like that. It complete a ambition for the paganism, so they are quite happy with him. Settler coming down to city side here, but still actually... this might be still 2 turns away. No, it's yeah. Well, technically it is 2 turns, but it's 1 and then 2. Not actually a extra 2 turns away. Interesting though that though Thracians are war with Rome, these units didn't actually attack here on these Roman units. Settler coming out from the capital. I think he can get this city before Ishtar finishes, but it's kind of close. Actually, no, there's no way that he can reach in 5 turns. He'd need to stall this, stop building this for a moment to actually get the settler here before it finishes. But it's kind of close. With just a couple of roads here, it probably would be fast enough, but moving all the way following this river is quite slow. Clearing this nice and quick. Rome has actually caught up to Greece in expansion and will overtake him soon enough. Definitely, this settler being slow to come out definitely caused a lot of delay in Greece's military action. And Rome does have a decent amount of extra orders from something, but I'm not quite sure what. This is 25 in actuality, while Greece has only 19. I wonder why the amount of Rome cities is that much lower. Did Rome get garrisons already? No, it's just from having statesmen. Just statesmen and legitimacy. I assume that... yeah, but the Greece did take the war with the Thracians as well. but still quite a bit. 40 almost 40 legitimacy behind is quite a lot for this stage in the game. Yeah. Let's see how longer we can keep this in simultaneous before I have to pause the game. Oh, unfortunate for Rome though is that the pagan head actually really dislikes him. Or dislikes her, I guess. Being proud and different. The absolutely worst possible combination. I think the only thing that makes this worse is if you also have empires. But still very, very unfortunate for Rome. Not the biggest possible deal because there's only one family head that's actually pagan at the moment. But does mean that converting families into the pagan religion is basically impossible with this negative 100 opinion. Makes family opinion management a decent bit more difficult than it would be otherwise. Yeah, I'll pause it here. I'll take my right as an observer to put a pause to things for a moment. Don't take and swap too tight. No. I wonder which one unpaused. It's something that I can't really do as a observer. Yes, I can't really affect the game in that way. Yes, I assume Cliff is the host. Yeah, it's Cliff is the host, so it's Cliff that has to change the turn timer. Rome settler. Actually, I forgot how much further you can actually move with force marching a Roman settler with the fatigue limit. This actually can go up before the Ishtar. Might be, probably doesn't even need to force march. No, does need to force march if he wants to get it this turn, but it's still 2 turns away, or 3 turns away. Second champion city for Greece. Reasonable considering this is a frontline city already. He is grabbing a Byreme, so he can go on the sea as well. But Rome does have a... With these two boats it's really difficult to contest the seas now against Rome. And getting this site here is really important as well because this allows you to build boats in the Northern Sea. And that's the only way to actually reach these sites here. There's a question for military graph, so military, I assume Rome is ahead. Basically even. But it should be noted that a lot of this power is... Rome is just running around with idiots at the moment. While Greece does have this free hoplite, so a lot of Greece's military power is in this one unit. And also standing the capital, which they can't really move any further from to. Will be interesting to see what happens next. But I think Rome is definitely in a commanding position at the moment. Especially after the Ishtar. Getting the culture level from Ishtar is really nice if you don't have drama So you don't, when you don't actually have enough sources of culture for all of your cities, the pre-level matters a lot. Makes your timing a lot better than it would be otherwise. Yes. This game is also on normal points to win instead of high points. After the Slaughterfest between Mojo and Oro that's been happening, I assume that players are a decent bit more inclined to actually go have the points victorious available in the late game. No double points though, so actually have to get all the way if you want to win that way. And this map is small enough that there's no defensive natural barriers here, so whichever player takes this side basically forces them to fight here, or like rather go on offensive, because this city is much more difficult to attack into than this city, and this city is much more difficult to hold on to than back one. But Rome, it could be a bit with these two Bayerins being anchored here already. Rome has kind of free reign over movement on the seas. Now that the settler has moved, this Bayern could just sail forward as well and then teleport these units down to the Thracian camp and take it in one turn from the fog of war. But he has lost a sight on some of these Grecian units, so he probably can't be too certain on where they are, so actually doing such an aggressive action isn't super easy. I'm guessing this Bayern actually got sight on this unit for a moment. Wait, what? Oh, right, because the Queen of Rome is swift, so these Roman scouts actually have 6 fatigue limit. Could run all the way around the map in a couple of turns. Yes, and what Sion is saying is correct, that if Greece tries to go for this side, Rome can just put a boat here and move all of these units down. I wonder if is this just random roaming, or is this actually a tribal invasion? Yeah, this is a tribal raid. It's a Numidian one. So I'm guessing it's this camp here. Let's see what Cliff is currently not swapping to simultaneous turns, so Groudon is asking him to do so. Oh, it's from this camp here. Kind of unfortunate that the boat could actually hit. A swift tracker boat. This is a most scouting by Ream that we've probably seen in this tournament. A good thing for Greece though is that all the units being back here, it does mean that Groudon doesn't really have the capacity to launch a naval invasion into the Grecian heartland though. Because if all of this is moved down, you could just take all of these warriors and start hitting one of these cities here. Does Rome have a settler coming from somewhere, from the capital? Definitely making good use of this swift Rome with these settlers moving all the way to the center island in just 2 to 3 turns. I'm just chatting a bit with some of the players here. So let's see if Cliff actually switches over. I don't think I can do it though. Steam input strikes again. Whenever I try to do anything in the options. Yeah, it's not. It should be in this menu, I think. I've actually done it. Swapped it around for a couple of times. Let's see. Well, while this game is paused, while we wait to turn time to swap over or Cliff to respawn this, we can look at the kids. Greece is Greece definitely has some unfortunate luck with the kids with the last daughter dying. Actually, we can see this dynasty. Yeah, the last daughter's dying, and then now the new adopted one getting severely ill. Some peril in the definitely in the succession. For Rome, though, there is the adopted kid here, who is quite a nice judge, but getting a bit old, while there is also a granddaughter in the works as well. Unfortunately, I did not grab Cliff's profile info before this game, so can't actually send him a Discord message here with DMs blocked. So this is a bit of a waiting period here. There we go. Now we are on tide, so the game can continue. Rome also didn't take any actions on the simultaneous turn, so he can take his entire turn here and now. Something that happens is that if you spend your turns in simultaneous and then swap over to tide, it eats your actions for the turn. Which is kind of, it feels weird the first couple of times it happens, but you get used to it. And I love to see this, just pillaging these Grecian fishing boats. I wonder if he got an event from that. I know that there are some really powerful pillage events in the game, but I don't remember if naval pillaging actually gets you those. What's it called? It's some. I think it's actually called something else than pillaging in this game, but I'm very bad with terminology usually, so I don't actually know. We're all making moves towards the last Numidian camp. Probably can clear it with these units before having to heal, though it might get an extra unit, and that's kind of annoying. One extra really awkward bit about this area is that because there are no woods here anywhere, you can't hide scouts. So both players are working kind of blind here. Though it looks like Cliff will be able to clear this side. So they're coming in 5. Is this? Yeah. No, I'll have to keep it on roam for a moment. After I just look at the... Oh, actually fighting the boat with spearmen is pretty funny. But I'll have to keep the POV on roam to see these Ishtar Gates events. Will be a 6 city Ishtar, so not great, not terrible. Yeah, and Sion is probably pointed out some time ago, is that spamming inquiries in this double stonecutter statement it is a lot of extra science income that doesn't actually show up on the science on the top bar. Has already completed at least one. I think this is only one. We'll get access to the degrees as well. But yeah, definitely Groudon is a very good player. I don't think I would have been had the presence of mind to move my Scholar up a military unit and put it into a city later on. I usually just kind of forget about them after they are assigned. Pre-archer instead of land consolidation, definitely. Understandable. Discipline gets Zoroastrianism in his cities. Courtier. Some more stats. Not the most amazing events, but definitely fine. I can't actually remember if the Lorien mine has something special attached to it, or is it if it's just a mine. A bit better mine than a regular mine. Did not go for it. Oh, already building lumber mills here, so I wonder what he's going to do with that wood. Probably just evening out the negative at the moment. You know that this entire thing with managing your wood usage is a skill that is a bit different than all the other economic skills, and I have gotten rushed by Babylonian unique unit archers. I think the Cimmerians are what they are called. Cimmerians or Chimerians, but Groudon has rushed me with those before, so I know that he is good at getting the wood he needs. So I assume this is done with a specific purpose. But because Ishtar is complete, all of the cities got their developing culture event, so all of these can rush now as well. Not that Rome really has the ability to do so, aside from this one. Oh, the judge governor got reassigned or removed entirely. Yeah, so actually no rushing available for Rome aside from the civics rushing, which he probably doesn't want to do when he is kind of close to his 4th law. Greece is actually still at 3 as well, grabbing, trapping. Good grab. Any of this. Actually really good science for Greece. From, yeah, it's their centralization getting modified and then Sages. Sages giving a good amount as well. Plus 33% from the governor and passive Sages specialists. Did grab the middle city site. Does see the anchor here. But does not see the units up north. This is actually the furthest Greece's scout has moved, so Greece is working pretty much completely blind. Will be interesting to see what Rome decides to do. No, doesn't. I don't think he has enough damage to actually kill these units. Especially the spearman. If I think it's good, you probably want to wait for a one turn anyways before you go in. So you can clear these barbs here and then see if these Thracians actually do some damage to these units and then try to maybe jump the spearman or something. I think it's completely fine to trade 2 warriors with a spearman, especially when you are Rome and you have this really big bonus to movement, so you can actually reinforce a lot faster than Greece can. But of course it's easy to say when you are spectating. Cliff managing some build queues. Building boats in revenge after getting pillaged. But I think it's too late for him to actually contest this middle island anymore. At least in the short term. Still has this army of warriors standing in the capital. He's building roads now, but I can still. This is not connected, right? Yes, it's not connected. The colors being different between single player and multiplayer is sometimes a bit disorienting. But same here, this is not connected either. What did these kill? These... Because all of these have attacked. But what did they attack? I think it must have been a Grecian scout, yes. It was a Grecian scout. Or a Greek scout. Still building inquiries currently at 2. Started the Oracle. Does that mean that there's no Judaism, so this is kind of just... I assume this is just a I have extra resources, so I might as well build the Oracle because the bonuses from Oracle aren't that amazing in a duel game. Gives you to the tech card hand size is quite nice, but not something that really you can usually play around having a bit smaller hand size, but the agent network is quite nice in games that have a lot of pagan religions, because pagan religions count for this as well. In a duel, it's the Oracle is the weakest that it can ever be in a duel map, basically. It's just two pagan religion and like a high likelihood of Manichaeism never being founded, for example. Now the question is that can Greece actually do something? Here. Horse marching. I don't think Greece can kill more than 1 unit this turn. So I don't think going on attacking the Romans makes much sense at the moment. It is quite nice though that these Roman units being there, it's kind of baiting in a way that it looks like Rome is coming to clear this camp still, instead of actually being on the middle island, because Greece doesn't see what's happening what's happening on the northern side. So it might make Cliff think that he got here before the Romans did. I don't think he's in a position to attack this turn yet. Did upgrade another spearman here. Rome is still dealing with the tribal raid here as well, so Rome is not in a position to go in at the moment as either. Yeah, none of these units are actually enough to kill this Sierra's spearman. Hoplite rather. Did put a general on the hoplite. Means that he can heal it mid-fight if necessary, so I think Rome kind of has to back away from now. From this fight for the moment. Getting more anchorage. This one does mean that he can move backwards if he needs to. It's just these swift Roman warriors with their naval movement can just go basically anywhere they want to go. Actually it does. Yeah, Rome hasn't had a scout on the north side yet, so he can't actually see the size here. Makes fighting at that position quite awkward. I don't think. He probably needs to move a scout northwards before he can think about clearing these camps. Unless they reveal themselves to him somehow, maybe by a raid or something. Let's see. Still has the super young that he cannot tutor yet. Oh, he can't be tutored yet. Well, here the Grecian or the Greek schemer heir did recover from the illness while the old king is doomed at the moment. Not a super big windfall from that one. Not a super big setback because the king isn't intelligent like many people like to have their first leaders. So this district has actually had a lot of benefit already. Getting the next one who is gracious, but nothing really much else. But a schemer on the throne is always nice, just for the ability to get more orders on will. Rome grabbing administration could be just cycling. Yeah, it's land concession coinage and something else. Free luxury, so if you don't want to go for land consolidation, cycling here is totally reasonable. Especially with this big concentration of sorghum here, so there's actually a couple of really nice granary spots here. I'm actually thinking where the best one is, probably here. These two, or this one maybe with the extra farm here. But he is deciding to go for lumber mills instead of these marsh farms. I think either player has built a marsh farm yet. We can check. Oh, this... The king is doomed but did not die yet, so... Still had the good fortune of keeping him from for an extra turn. Granary is going up in Chalkis. Probably his biggest growth reducing city, so quite a nice play to get that extra bonus growth from the Granary adjacent and then the adjacencies as well. Now this is quite tempting, the solo Spearman on the city side, but I think it's quite difficult to actually attack it still. Yeah, I would need 5 units whacking on it, and I don't think that's happening. I assume Rome wants to go either for a 4th law or axis. I think going for a 4th law makes decent bit more sense than just going for axis with the X-Men bonus kind of built into the Roman unique unit already. Administration does lead to rhetoric, so there's one quick law there if Rome wants to grab it. Couple of champion cities in the middle. This one I understand totally as champion city with the horses, but I think this, if you get these horses into it as well, but otherwise this is kind of a unexciting, probably even better as a landowner city, but I understand the urge to put champions in these border cities with the bonus city defense that champions get. Let's see, Greek bows are still 3 turns away. So there's not really any immediate threat for the Roman navy. Do we see garrisons? No garrisons. There's one here in Volubilis, but that's the only one I can see on Rome at the moment. Yeah, I think it's only one garrison. Second one coming up there though. We can see on Greece's turn on how many they have built at the moment. Let's take a look at the graphs while we garrison content and graph. So garrisons no there either. Just a lot of culture buildings, but no garrisons from what I can see. But we can take a look at the graphs again. This is the 4th law available for Greece, with monotheism or polytheism. I think monasticism, they must have grabbed it a couple of turns ago already. I have not decided to, just got the civics this turn actually. So Greece can start building hoplites if they so desire. But for graphs, can take a look at the civics. Rome is leading, training Rome is leading by a lot as well. This is double training. Culture is where Greece has invested a lot, so Greece is obviously leading there. And then orders, Rome is leading. We can do a check on the on improvements. Quite low actually. Greece only 21. Rome at 29. So Rome is leading in orders by a lot. Military score, Rome is leading, which is actually kind of impressive considering how the entirety of Rome's army is just idiots. Then a couple of boats and they one free archer. So Rome has built a lot more military units than Greece has. tense science. Greece is leading by a lot. Did lose the king, so that lot, the big science lead did get a decent bit lower. I think he lost, what, 12 science, 10 science, something along those lines. Let's see if Greece can actually leverage this science advantage. Yeah, and like I was talking about at the start of the game, this is one of those maps that is rather poor in gold producing resources in the immediate area near the cap. So especially now that these boats got pillaged here in Miletos, it means that Greece is running a negative gold balance from upkeep. Is that the gold resources are all on the coast here or on these two hills, and Greece doesn't have police from what I remember. Yeah, no police for Greece, so they don't have any sources of natural gold income. While Rome, because they have police, they have built a couple of villages, they have landowner cities where they have these farms, and because they had the sea control and could keep these their own nets while pillaging the ones that Greece has, means that Rome is actually has a lot of gold income here. Even after the queen dies, they will still have a lot of gold income. I assume these units will move to clear this last Numidian camp after they have healed up. But otherwise, it seems like Rome is spending a lot of their orders either moving units, yeah, making a road here. Love to see it. So this road here saves a lot of turns of movement whenever you want to actually reinforce towards the coast. Actually, does Greek have anything similar? I know that they started roading. They started roading southwards. Probably also finish on one of these hills here and get basically all of the movement bonus that way. Kind of redundant roading through the river here though. You get the movement bonus from the river anyways. Yes, it saves a couple of turns on these tiles, so it's still worth it. And then also continuing the road from Nicaea southwards. I wonder what this player message notification is though. I'm guessing it's this one on the side of the map, but just kind of misplaced on the map. Now the scary part is that if Greece takes these units and starts just goes in on Petra, can Rome actually defend? And I think the answer is yes, but it's not going to be pleasant. The Thracians are dead, so this last Thracian unit converted into a regular Barb Marauder and will most likely cause some trouble for this Roman worker. Did grab a new, or did get a new child. The Lavar as well. And some free, either basically a free ambition or a free science. Very nice event for this one. Yeah, must have been running inquiries here as well. Both players are in a similar state of mind here, using these stonecutters or to just pump out a lot of projects here. So let's see, the Nicaea was at 2 inquiries and some other project as well, while Faventia was at 2 inquiries still. Probably just something else in between. a huge earthquake, but seems like it didn't really damage anything. Yeah, I think this... Is it actually no buildings damaged here? Yeah, it's only damage on units, but no damage on improvements themselves. It is funny, this is already the third time I think where Grecian spearmen have fought against these Roman boats. I did grab amphibious on this one as well, so this boat is actually kind of good at fighting ground units now. Now this is a funny use of amphibious. I think I totally had blocked from my memory that boats can even get amphibious on them. But it's a funny and cool play anyways. Both leaders did live quite long this time. Rome is still alive at 44, turn 44, while Greece has died at 42, I think. Seems a decent bit above average lifespans at the moment. Oh, I actually think that Rome is using a lot of this income from these lumber mills on building more boats. Does the oracle cost wood? I think I can see here. No. The oracle that he's spending it on. Clearing out this camp here. I think this Byreme has to run away so not to die. But it's definitely a big advantage on Rome on the number of build queues available, while Greece is still on 5 cities. We'll probably get this one here as their 6th. Rome is already at 8. No, 7. I am still unable to count, but we'll be on 8 after they clear this one. So that's a lot of extra training you get from just being Rome with this +2 training from being Rome means that these cities are actually kind of good at still producing military units, even with just a super low amount of investment into them. I would like to see Rome grab these barracks though at some point. Getting this law is definitely the priority though, because it is Rome's fourth one and will let them start building hastati. Hastatus and the plural, therefore being hastati, I assume. Unless my years of playing Rome Total War have lied to me. Let's see. Rome using the last moments of their turn to think about what to do. Very short earthquake, luckily for them. Didn't get hit by the 2-turn earthquake that sometimes happens. Now Greece got their own boats, so I assume we'll see them move forwards this turn. Maybe after a round of promotions. But it does become a bit scary after these boats are now on the sea, because Greece can also do the same where they anchor these boats and start moving these spearmen to these middle cities. Start fighting over them. It did decide to go for promotions, so we'll want to contest Rome on the seas. Rome does have these promoted boats, but this one is amphibious, which doesn't help at fighting at the sea units, and this is a swift tracker, which doesn't help with actually fighting at either. So these Grecian boats are actually kind of, they can upfight these other Roman boats. It's a good thing that the artisan ship units don't get a combat bonus anymore. That was very unfun to play against when that was still a thing. Still do get the cost reduction, but only in goods cost, so no bad build time reduction, only reduction in cost. So it does mean like that grabbing the Gothan is quite good this game if one of the players can go for it. So Rome building those lumber mills isn't bad in that there is an eventual use for any surplus wood that might come from building lumber mills and then not building boats in a couple of turns. For a couple of turns. Rome just finished a tech, which was rhetoric, so Rome can grab the fourth law and start going for Hastati. Yes, welcome. Yeah, this is Rome versus Greece is a rather common matchup this tournament, or has been. But I think a good amount of this is it's also that Cliff likes playing Greece and has played them before as well. So Groudon. Ah, yes, yes. Well, you'd be happy to know that I think Rome is in the driver's seat at the moment. They are leading in the number of cities before because both players have the same amount of these rear cities, while Greece has the center site, while Rome got the island to the north. We'll probably send a settler up there anytime soon. Actually deciding not to build one at the moment, so we'll be sitting on this site for a while. Which does mean that Greece has an opportunity to actually steal it with the boats being out now. Yes, the map might look large, but it's still a dual-size map. It's just a wide inland sea means that you get a decent amount of extra territory than you would otherwise. Rome has more land because they beeline navigation, got boats, and then cleared this middle island, while Greece did some other stuff before going for boats, and is only now starting to build a navy to actually contest this area. But Greece does have this spearman, has actually 3 spearmen and a hoplite here, and Rome is still running around with 4 strength units. Rome did just on this turn get access to his 4th law, so he can start doing Hastati now, but has not gone for them yet. Rome did complete Ishtar, so all of his cities are developing aside from this one here. So he has the ability to rush out Hastati as well. I know that he had a judge. Yeah, he still has this judge available as well, so he could even assign this judge and start rushing with gold, with his decent gold income from being Rome and having built some villages or hamlets here. I love to see the tutor reminders. But this is definitely the scary part for Rome is that they are leading in terms of map development, so they have more land and more cities, and they have more map control. They have less scouting, but they don't really have the military strength to do much if Greece decides to actually march these units forwards. So I don't think Greece can do it. They don't really have the orders, and they couldn't really back up. So these units would just eventually die. But it's still quite scary for Rome to see these units here being this consolidated power block. And what I'm leery about is that because Rome isn't building a settler, he can't really secure the site that fast. Even if this city immediately goes for settlers, it's still 5 turns for a settler, and then it needs 2 turns to move here. And Greece will have a boat by then, almost certainly, before Rome can get a settler here. So if Greece anchors a boat here and grabs these spearmen, he can pretty easily steal this site from Rome. But again, the problem is that Greece doesn't have any scouting. He hasn't had a scout on this island at any point in the game. He hasn't moved his boats from beyond his own borders, so he actually doesn't know that there is a site here. So it's difficult to contest something that you don't know exists. Yes, the Roman biremes here raided Grecian, these Greek nets near the city. And Greece immediately started hard building boats as fast as it could, just to not get pillaged again, I assume. I'm pretty sure one of these even had a specialist that got pillaged at the same time. One advantage that Greece does have is they have a religion, so they do have the bonuses associated with that. It's not a very good religion at the moment, I assume. Yeah, it's no theologies. And they also have a pretty large science lead, or did early on at least. Still at leading by 58 points per turn, and basically a third higher than total science as well. So Greece does have some advantages over Rome at the moment. It's definitely stressful to be in the situation where you see a 6th ranked unit and you assume that the opponent can build even more 6th ranked units, and you still have to rely on these posting units. This sounds, yeah, the campsite got cleared. Rome is still building the oracle. I wonder, I think this map has very few pastures on it though. I think there's one visible here and there was one more somewhere else, so it will take a long time before Judaism is founded. Yeah, there's one here, and then the middle island ones, but I assume these champion cities aren't in any rush to build ranchers in them. You can tell that Greece has been starved for orders this entire game by this block of military units standing in the capital that haven't been able to actually move out and contribute to the fighting in any meaningful way. That's also why the reason why the military score is so even, is that Rome has a lot more units on the field, but they are 4th-ranked units, while Greece has this small core of spearmen and hoplites, and then a lot of units in the capital standing around waiting for the orders to actually contribute to the war effort in any way. But it's kind of crazy. The Queen of Rome is a swift one. So if you mouse over one of these workers, this one is a bad example because the road doesn't go that far, but if you take this warrior here, for example, it can get all the way to the middle sides. If this boat was anchored, it could get all the way to Volubilis probably, with this 6 fatigue limit that these units have. Sorry, 5 fatigue limit, it's only 6 on the scouts. No, it's Rome has a huge amount of mobility on the map. I still would love to see some more garrisons though. With this big stone bank. They do pay themselves back in a decent, in not too long. Grabbing military drill. I wonder what the pick will be afterwards. He's going for steel, which is definitely something that you probably need to do. Did grab spokespear, but I don't think I've seen any chariots yet because the only horses on this map are here. Well, only easily accessible horses are here. There are some more horses on the middle island. All of the middle island cities can build horses, and then there are even some more here. But these are kind of out of the reach. The map is kind of interesting with this large mountain range that goes from the top of the map all the way to the middle, and then the ocean and the middle island blocking the access to the northern city sites completely. So these are just the Numidians here are mostly working as an annoyance for both players. More so for Rome because they are closer. But if Rome can get the one boat into the northern sea and clear these sides, they will basically have an unbeatable economic advantage at that point. Because this entire island is one continuous landmass. This city is the only city that can build boats to the north. This is the only tile that can actually get boats. Makes getting to the far north really annoying. Rome is currently probably just will deal with this raid at the moment. I wonder how many units he will actually have to keep here, just in case. Probably quite a few. Yep, clearing these Numidian raiders out at the moment. Building more boats. Interesting. Oh yeah. Doesn't have the stronghold yet. Still building that one. So a bit of awkward timing there. Definitely has the stockpile to actually build Hastati as well. So it's not really a problem of not having enough resources. It's the problem of not having the infrastructure yet. Because there's one more stronghold going up there, but this city and this city will be the only ones that have strongholds at the moment. We'd love to see a stronghold here as well. Though it will probably, well, with military drill up in a couple of turns and being Rome, it's not that bad. You will be able to get Hastati out in a decent amount of time. Oh, a random attack for an ambition. Let's see what they goes. Port Callis for upgrade. That's very nice grab. Getting a ambition from the Sage's family and then getting a free tech as a extra bonus for completing that regular tech. Now, I think the problem for Greece is that they don't actually have any scouts on the map. I am almost certain that they have 0 scouts. No, they did build an extra one at some point. But like you can see from the family, this is a newly built scout because they did lose their starting one. did get killed on the open plane here. But I'll have to take a really quick break here, just for a minute or two before I can keep going, so I leave the camera here where the action is most likely to happen. And I have returned. Seems like Rome's turn was really quick. Yes, I think the 3 units from portcullis is quite nice, but I assume that the Onaja is the only one that would be really useful, because we don't really love fighting Roman Hastati with Macemen. Hastati are kind of just a better version of a Maceman with the, well, the same as Maceman, more or less. But it's just the ground here in the center is just so awkward. It's just there are these 3 hills where these onagers can actually do a decent bit of work, but if you want to actually do something aggressive with an onager, it's really difficult. I guess you could do hit from this hill. From going for husbandry. I wonder if that's for Judaism or if that's for just going for spoke wheel later on. If I had to guess, it's probably for just getting spoked wheel and access to mounted units. He does have the horses on the middle island now, so there are a decent amount of pastures to actually be built. Actually, what is the Rome's... Oh, nice, there's a judge available as Rome's heir. Maybe a tactics student that's quite young as well, so he might try to do something with her after she takes the throne, go for some sort of an attack. It'll be interesting to see. Now, it is kind of scary that Rome is spreading out these biremes around, which is really natural with anchoring. Oh, he did swap to colonies, so he's actually using these boats to buy tiles now. So that means that he can now buy these sea tiles and actually stop anchoring completely. He'll just buy these sea tiles and he has the entire coastal highway unlocked before Greece can contest him. And after you've bought these tiles, there's not really much you can do with biremes aside from trying to block zone of control. Yeah, it's also true that going for spoked wheel for chariots isn't super nice against these spearmen, but it's still getting chariots does mean that you need to be a bit more mindful of your positioning, even if you have spearmen on the field. So I think there's always value in having at least one chariot on the field for your opponent to have to think about, even if they have spears. And Greece did get a schemer leader, so they now have a scout in Rome's lands. I wonder how far he will actually run this. That will it just make a agent network in Petra, try to make use of Portcullis, or if this scout will actually get all the way to Rome for maximum spying value. But I love to say this. This definitely shows that Groudon is a really smart player to make use of colonies. Though I am a bit disappointed that neither player has built a single marsh farm, with both players having centralization, which does have this line of text where you can build farms on marshes, and there is this really big marshland here, and there's another marshland here, and there's one more marshland here. So you could make, what's this, like 10, 20, you could make almost 30 wood a turn just from marsh farms this game. Which is, it's not, Greece could use it because they are negative in wood, and Rome could have used it because they went for lumber mills, but they don't really want the text that lead on from lumber mills. They actually don't, they actively are avoiding land consolidation. Which is understandable considering this is very poor. This map is very poor for land consolidation resources. There are three in the capital. Greece is a better example. There are 3 honey in the capital, but those are the only land consolidation resources on the entire map. So avoiding it makes a lot of sense. Oh, I guess there's extra wine here. But still. And Rome decided to do the cool urban tile play where they put this hamlet over a honey here. So the honey got destroyed and immediately gave the harvest bonus to Rome. I believe it's 5 times the normal harvest bonus that you get from settling over putting an urban tile over a resource. So that's why Rome is at such a high culture level, despite having such a low culture income. Still fighting these barbarians up north. Seems like there was an out-of-map parade maybe for Greece last turn. Can we still see it? No. But Rome did get the Oracle. Not the most impactful wonder in the game. It's just the tech card hand size is probably the most meaningful bonus this game, because there is just 3 religions in the game. So there are only 2 enemy holy cities that you can have an agent network in. It's Miletos and Bella. Though, funnily enough, this is way more information than you would usually get from the Oracle, because Greece still has this clump of units standing in the capital. So Rome actually is aware of all these units now. Knows that they are really far away, but we'll also see when they actually leave the capital. Yeah, so interesting to see. I assume this Oracle was mostly for I have extra resources that I can use, so I might as well put them towards a wonder. With none of these other wonders being super meaningful either. Necropolis is somewhat nice though. Bit difficult to use as Rome. The lighthouse is actually quite good as well, but I think the real wonder, the real priced wonder this game is the Cotton, with the getting a free tridream. This is kind of equivalent to the Colosseum in the power that you can get from it immediately or in the short term, but obviously it doesn't come with the huge amount of free training that the Colosseum gives you, so it's weaker. But on a map like this, where the sea control means a whole an immense amount for Greece especially, the Cotton is very powerful to get. Rome is now less reliant on sea control with all these tiles bought, where even if he loses the sea, he can still move quite freely along the coasts, as long as Greece doesn't completely block movement on some of these narrow straits here. Let's see some events. Could get a court scholar, but Greece is still negative in gold income, which is quite common when you don't have access to landowners. Quite common and quite unfortunate, especially because Greece doesn't really he got all its. Yeah, he did get the police, but it was just a couple of turns ago. Might have been this turn actually. So he doesn't really have any sources of gold income available for him at the moment, aside from these nets. Do we still no garrison there? Does Greece have garrisons? Because Greece also has 4 laws. These are just theaters. No. There's a barrack, but no. Yeah, Greece doesn't have the possibility of building hoplites either, with all the no strongholds on the map at the moment. Quite interesting. Maybe I'm just too focused on getting garrisons up really quickly whenever I can, because I love the extra orders you get from garrisons, because that's usually the thing that you are the most short of orders. So any source of orders you can get is, I consider, really valuable. Zoroastrianism is currently in 2 cities, I assume. There's a way to see this really quickly. Yeah, 2 cities. So not super efficient in terms of spreading that, especially when you have monasticism and could get monasteries. So spreading that religion is quite valuable. Does have one here. Has not gone for the Zoroastrian wonder, I think. It's sometimes quite difficult to spot because it doesn't show in the wonder list, so you need to either spot the notification down here or just see it on the map. He's able to tutor his one of the heirs, but it's third in line, so I would not be surprised to see Greece skip this one with the lack of gold that he has at the moment. Meanwhile, in Rome, the old queen is still living. Might actually live to 70, which is quite amazing for one of these multiplayer games, where we often have seen leaders die in their early 30s or even late 20s after the protection time has run out. But both royals being so old is quite nice. Bold, educated, pious. Sorry, bold, educated, and proud. Second in line is also, this will be a this might be a courage 10 military leader with some luck. Unfortunately though, Rome doesn't really have even if she becomes a zealot, which is usually my preferred military archetype, Rome doesn't really have the state religion to makes use of zealous bonuses. Quite unfortunate for them. Though it seems unlikely that Greece would be able to contest getting these ranchers. No, actually, Greece does have 2 pastures, so if they really wanted, they could grab these rancher specialists and grab Judaism as well. Interesting to see. They learned just from getting text. Oh, right, because she got the event that gave her free tech, so this is quite a rare cognomen to see in my experience. Definitely nice to spectate Greece just for the music. Finally moving these units down. I assume these will get upgraded to access our spears before too long though. In terms of promotions, always. Oh, Rome did get a settler, so we'll settle the city side soonish. Did clear the raids here. Well, Grace also got the raid that was going for Caristos. I do hear a lot of sounds of promoting. Yeah, did upgrade these to access, but these are still regular warriors. Definitely has the resource stockpile and the training to do so, though this upkeep is quite harsh now. I'm a -2 from the queen. It means that Greece really wants to build some barracks at some point. Barracks or ranges. They do have military available to do them as the Greeks, but seems like they haven't really been prioritizing them. While Rome is finally building the hastati. The first hastatus will hit the field in some time. 4 turns might get cut down by 1 by the barracks finishing, but not sure how likely that will be. Lots of governors available. Actually, no, not here. How about Rome? There is. The princess is a judge, so there is a possibility for Rome to assign the princess somewhere and start rushing in these landowner cities. Shame it seems like she... Oh, and there's a lot of statements, judges. Even this one young guy as well. So, getting both a garrison and a stronghold in Petra is quite valuable. On that. One of the benefits of having the Ishtar Gate bonus. Rome is still quite healthy in economy, has cut into the stone stockpile by a decent amount. Old lady still going strong, not ill and not doomed, so it seems basically certain at this point that she will live to 70. I missed the last turn was the Silver Jubilee, the 50 years of reign event. Unfortunate. There a Golden Jubilee. Oh, it was this turn. Decided to grab one extra discipline. Good job. Very nice event to get. just a nice bonus for being lucky and keeping your leader. Did build the agent network in Petra. Well, until Greece's turn to see agents. If Greece has assigned any agents at the moment. Rome just building barracks in the capital. I'd like to see this. Oh, actually, I was just saying that I'd like to see this road network be continued, but that's exactly what Rome is doing. So let's see. Spy Master Demetrios is giving the. There is some agents. I think it was here. No agents in Petra at least. I think this is the only one that he currently could have an agent in. Yeah. Interesting that it seems to not go right in this one. Because there is an agent in Petra, but it shows here that there's no agent. Oh, it does show that there's an agent. Interesting that it's just a weird looking icon then. It does have a full vision of the city. Swap that back to normal. Yeah, and you can really see how I think Greece, because he knows he's the city of Petra and he knows what Rome has in it, that he's just hyper focusing on building these biremes. Two coming out in the next turn and then some more in 3 turns, and I think that means that Greece would have more boats than Rome has. Naval units. Currently 3 for Greece, but it will be at 6, while for Rome the boat count is at 4. So there's a good chance that Rome will actually lose the seas in a couple of turns. Unless they are willing to spend some resources. Um, this looks like an aggressive anchor, but Rome has had this anchor here before, and he knows that he can attack to this without without actually having units. He's sending warriors to this is just getting your warriors slaughtered. There's not much warriors can do to this fierce hoplite, or especially these axes. So I think this is just a posturing anchor here instead of an actually aggressive anchor. But even these Numidians being annoying, sending raiders down every couple of turns towards Rome. Let's see. This is next turn after this Greek turn is the turn when these boats might actually go forwards. Now the question is that how much Greece can actually do with them. It's pretty unfortunate though, because there's a good chance that I won't actually be able to cover this naval fight before I have to take a break from this stream. I did. I do have some real life stuff I need to do during the day, so yeah, so I'll. That's what I just got my schedule here, so I'll be closing the stream in a minute here. I'll just wait until the end of this turn for Rome, and then unfortunately I can't really cover much longer. Let's see what the Roman. I don't think Rome is aware of this even. He knows this one here, but um, he might think that there's only the two that were there early on. But it's a bit unfortunate for a cliffhanger, but I do need to leave the stream for here. It does seem like this game will probably not have a conclusion this session though, so I hope that I can pick this up whenever it continues. But thank you for watching, and I will leave the players to continue this game on.